In the Sahara Desert, the rainy season has ended. Now it is the time of seductive dances, beauty and celebrations. These are the Peuls Wadawi, or Fulani, perhaps the last great nomadic people in the world. And this is the Gariwal ceremony, the celebration for beautiful men. For 3 days, hundreds of young people have been dancing ceaselessly, adorned so that their feminine attributes are more noticeable than their masculine ones, and until one of them gets the prize title as the most handsome in the world. With this honor comes prestige and sex with all the women that the winner wants. The competitors move rhythmically, eyes half closed. They squint, grimace, and make faces. For the Peuls Wadawi, these are the most provocative expressions that exist. For 1 year, the young dancers have been preparing themselves for this moment. It is the climax of hours spent trying to obtain the best costumes, the most attractive body paintings. The search for the nomads in this ceremony started many days ago for us. We are now in northern Niger, a region with temperatures exceeding 120 degrees Fahrenheit in March and averaging 86 degrees Fahrenheit during the rest of the year. Together with Chilean actress Paspas Cunha, we had departed from Niamey, Niger's capital city. After crossing the land of the Hausa, the country's majority ethnic group, we traveled toward Sahel, a corridor of powdery savannas, seasonal meadows, and also the land of the Peuls Wadawi. Two days after leaving Niamey, we reach Ingao, a town almost exclusively Peu, and one of the few places of stable housing in the Sahel Savannah. An estimated 27 million people, distributed in 17 countries in Western and Eastern Africa, speak Fulfulde, the Peu language. Only a few tens of thousands of these are nomadic, most of whom are known as Peuls Wadawi. Nobody knows for certain where these people came from, but evidence suggests that about 5 centuries ago, they reached Senegal and began a great eastward march for about 200 years, defeating and enslaving each settlement they encountered, imposing Islam on this part of Africa. This tribe controlled a vast empire during the 19th century and the early part of the 20th century. Today, most of the Peuls work in commerce, earning fixed salaries, or raise livestock. However, thousands remain hidden from us, living in the hot plains of the Sahel. The next day, we leave behind the major roads and head into the barren desert. We follow a worn trail, now and then coming across men to us strangely dressed, like out of a science fiction movie. We move our camp to a site away from the center of the gathering, close to an isolated Peul's Wadabi family. We don't see anything resembling a house or tent, only a bed and a few meager personal belongings. The success of this way of life lies in taking along the least amount of possessions possible. Simplicity and precariousness constitute a kind of wealth and virtue.
Nice. How nomads meet in the middle of the desert and greet each other with such warmth. We'll camp here.
After requesting permission, we walk to the celebration site. We immediately discover that the Peuls give great importance to personal appearance and adornments. The men, as well as the women, exhibit diverse facial tattoos and painted designs.
This is what we've been looking for years. Look.
According to myths and ancient legends, the Peuls traveled from Israel, crossing the Red Sea, until they reached Ethiopia, then Egypt and Sudan, taking up residence in these enormous stretches of savannas, extending from Lake Chad in the east to the Atlantic coast of Senegal in the west, an ideal place for grazing their flocks. Since they began arriving several days ago, the Peuls have never stopped celebrating and dancing. We are fascinated with the colorfully painted men, their grimaces, the subtle movements they make while always holding hands, their costumes, and fantastic body paintings. It is difficult for us to make sense of this complex ceremony. We are aware that the dance we are watching is not, in fact, the Gadiwal. This dance has neither the protocol nor the ostentation. It is only a preparatory dance. The true Gadiwal, with painted and adorned youths, is only held once each day. Dawn comes to the Peul camp. The participants have danced and sung all night, and in a few minutes, the celebration will begin again. These small dwellings, called sulu, made with cloth and blankets by the women of the tribe, are the traditional Peul huts. During the celebration, the women take charge of making almost everything, because the men are far more concerned with their clothing, consisting of purple, green, black, and white tunics and turbans. The Peuls, by tradition, are polygamous, as are almost all of the native peoples of Africa. The Peuls are Muslim, and the Quran states that the prayers of a man married to several women are more acceptable to Allah. The Garawal ritual, in contrast with the preparatory dances, has strict rules of conduct, which are monitored by the elders. The young participants paint their faces red or yellow and wear tight skirts and turbans with feathers. For the young Peu Wadabi, this is the most important moment of his life. This ceremony gives him a chance to get a desirable woman, to be recognized by his peers, to win respect in the community, and last but not least, the opportunity to be named the most handsome nomad in the desert. They are the Peols. They are all here. For weeks, thousands of young nomads have been traveling from the hostile sand dunes to this hidden place.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. He's inviting us. There's a mark here. For the animals, or maybe some territory. He's offering something to sit on. He's offering a place to sit in that piece of fabric.
The men lead the family, locating water wells and grassy meadows. The older women and girls take care of the smaller children and prepare the food. The children help wherever they can and take care of the animals. Their livestock include a few camels, several hundred goats, and a few dozen cattle. Not a small fortune. For the Peols, classrooms and schools do not exist. They're free, totally independent, and without obligations. But they must be respectful, courteous to everyone, ready to advise those younger on how to find water and grazing meadows. For the men, their lives revolve around gaining admiration and respect from their peers. They are under great pressure to be recognized as good warriors and shepherds. While Peols may appear to have an extremely sexist society, for the men, recognition by other men is not nearly as important as being loved and admired by the women. Without a doubt, practically every decision of the Wadabi is guided by the imperative to look good in the eyes of the opposite sex. Women assume a role that seems secondary. Since childhood, they have learned how to live through legends and proverbs. Rules and duties are not explicitly stated. Each woman must keep in her heart the teachings of the legends. A Peol woman becomes wise through humility and reflection. In spite of being Muslim, Peol women are not obligated to cover their face, and it is not uncommon to see them in public bare from the waist up, especially when they are washing themselves. Although such exposure is not a dress style. Each day, we see the women walking graciously through the camp, loaded down with food to pay homage to the king and the chiefs. It is a sacred moment. With great humility, they prostrate themselves before them, never once lifting their eyes. Today, an important chief deigns to address them. He speaks of the ancestral rules that have been passed down from one generation to another. Meanwhile, the king speaks to a group of chiefs and elders who listen to him with rapt attention and reverence. He indicates to my travel companion to take a position closer to him. For a few instants, the king speaks to her, looking directly into her eyes. This deferential gesture was undoubtedly a welcome, an act of friendship to a foreigner. The long-awaited day has arrived. From dawn, the young men have been enhancing their appearance with refined makeup. Of prime importance are their teeth and eyes. A man cannot have yellow teeth or bloodshot eyes. Young Peols are very pretentious. They can take hours to comb their hair, although later it will be covered with their best turbans or ostrich feather hats. Their adornments are sparkling and the clothing tight-fitting and colorful. Each young man must not only look handsome, but also show poise and gallantry, and his composure and actions must be decorous and noticeably feminine. The competition is important to the individual, his family, and his tribe. If a man is looked down on, it is an offense against his entire clan. Each tribe likes to brag that the handsomest man is theirs. This is also the moment when Peol society enters into the world of rites, into an oasis of colors and celebration. It is a time when they leave all of their problems behind and concentrate on the most important part of their spiritual life, the cult of beauty. The group grows minute by minute until filled with hundreds of young men moving sinuously, wildly moving their eyes and making facial gestures. Seated before them, observing their every move, is the very king of the nomads of this entire region, whose presence gives the ceremony the aura of pomp and respect that is required. The Peols Wadali are very proud of their Gariwal tradition, since it reflects a clear connection with the culture of their ancestors. If a Gariwal were to be performed poorly, or the men exhibit a weak presentation, it would mean that the whole community is losing its strength, and with this, the will to survive. During the ceremony, while making fun of the sensual display of the young men, or praising their looks, the tribe elders, men and women, begin choosing from among the hundreds of gesticulating dancers their 16 favorite. This rite may seem to be far from Muslim tradition. The Peols embrace their religion in their own way and act according to their own set of beliefs. The Peols are considered to be one of the groups that most strongly maintains the ancient traditions of their ancestral culture. During the entire celebration, the men must be arrogant and never show fatigue. This is important to the women. They apply the Togo concept, which in our culture could be defined as beauty plus charm and charisma. Three single young women, the most beautiful, make their way into the rotating circle of dancing men. They are the princesses. They are the prize for the winner and will choose the most sublime and attractive dancer. They are allowed to be the first ones to kiss him or to make love to him for the entire night. The men who classify, repeat, and exaggerate their movements and facial gestures in front of the young girls. The crowd grows impatient. It becomes unruly. And the chiefs use their whips and staffs to punish without compunction. The chosen ones prostrate themselves and receive tufts of feathers indicating that they are finalists. Everything must be perfect. These nervous and impatient young men have been preparing themselves for this moment during the entire year. It is the culmination of months of hard work to get in shape and fine-tune body movements until they are highly feminine and elegant. The moment everyone has been waiting for has finally arrived. The final selection process is about to begin. Finally, the lead princess, advancing with short, paused steps in a delicate dance, softly touches with her small hand the young man she likes best. She has made her choice. The youths congratulate the winner. He is the champion. He is and will be, during an entire year, the handsomest man in the world. In 1 year, the nomads will return. Meanwhile, they will continue living in the inhospitable Sahelian prairies, with its suffocating heat, hurricane-force winds, and burning sandstorms. Always wandering, always feeling that they have the handsomest man in the world.